The 2016 Telstra Queensland Businesswoman of the Year is Tracey Vieira.
I don't even know. This is so unexpected, and I truly didn't prepare a second speech because there was no way that this was going to happen. But you know, I talked a little bit about my journey, and I didn't tell you something that sort of ended that bullying for me. And what happened in the end of year 10, I went home at the end of the year and I gave my parents an ultimatum. I was either never going back to school or I was going to change schools. So that was a great choice for my parents, so they let me go to another school rather than drop out. And at that new school, I started, and first week of school, sat in a maths class, and after class this girl came up to me and said, "You sat in my seat." And I thought, oh great, here we go. And she said, I'm going to let you know how that feels, you're going to get a beating. And I thought, I can't do this again. And so I found out where she lived, and at the end of that school day, as soon as that bell went, I ran to her house because I figured if I was going to get a beating, I'd rather have it done one-on-one than with a bunch of people standing around chanting. So I waited out the front, and she come home, and I said, well, if you want to hit me, go ahead and hit me now. And she ran inside that house as fast as she could go, and she never, ever come near me again. And so through facing my fear, I got my power back. And so, and I will never let anyone, as Catherine says, take my light away again. My fire is burning bright, and I'm going to shine a light not just for myself, but for the women I work with, for the women that I don't know yet who will be part of my journey going forward, for children, for people who don't have a voice and who can't stand up for themselves. I lived in Los Angeles for 10 years with my husband, and we lived in South LA, which is not the safest neighbourhood. And we had a child and knew that we couldn't afford a private school. And so we got together with the local neighbours and we fundraised and we started our own school. So we raised $250,000 in 8 months, and we started a charter school which would have an intake of half of the school being low-income, non-English speaking children. And the other children got in through a lottery process. Public school, all done in Spanish so that those children who were disadvantaged got to learn in their first language, while the English speakers got to learn in a foreign language. Now that school is it started by renting in other spaces, and they've broken ground this year on building their very own school. And so, from a housing commission kid to someone who has built a school in a neighbourhood that didn't have anywhere to go for great education, if I can do it, anyone can do it. So I hope you light your fires too, and together let's change this world.